Okay, here we have the hosting database as well. So if you are an individual researcher and you'd like to do your research in Europe, inside the website, we also have a hosting database. So please take the time to look there before you start sending your proposal. Find out, you can just put the country, you can put the theme of your interest, and then it should give you the answers. Okay, so and now I will give you a talk on Horizon Europe, which is our main topic of today. So my colleague, Dr. Dalibor is here. He will talk to you more about how to respond to the proposals. But before that, let me tell you about some entry points, because it's a big program. This is a program of 95 billion euros. And as Ms. Buende was saying, this is also focused on international collaboration, because science is without borders, and some of the best scientists, of course, are here in Vietnam. So a partnership between Europe and Vietnam for excellent science and research is very much needed. So and also we want to respond to the sustainable development goals. I'm trying to click. Okay. So this is Horizon Europe as a whole. So you see that there are a lot of pillars. I will not discuss to you every pillar, but I will concentrate on pillar 1, which is on excellent science, and pillar 2, which is on global challenges and European industrial competitiveness. So if you look at pillar 1, more specifically, I'd like to share to you about the Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions. And then you have another program, which I think is not so well known, but actually very, very interesting for you as well, which is the European Research Council grants. Under pillar 2, you can see there are clusters, and under these clusters, there are open calls. So there's a cluster on health, culture, creativity, and inclusive society, civil security for society, digital industry and space, climate, energy, and mobility, and then you have food, bioeconomy, natural resources, agriculture, and the environment. So for excellent science, you see here for the European Research Council, it addresses frontier research by the best researchers and their teams. For the Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions, it's equipping researchers with new knowledge and skills through mobility and training. Okay. And then, so if you look at Horizon Europe Pillar 1, it offers opportunities for individual researchers of any nationality. And then for pillar 2, as I said, there are different clusters here. And in each of the clusters, there is a work program that's being released, and there are calls. And I will show you some of the calls that are open that maybe you'd like to already respond to after you get trained by Dr. Dalibor later. And then you can have the, also some maybe some additional one-on-one with us if you'd like on responding to the calls as well. Okay, so a very important note is that for all Horizon Europe collaborative projects, so this is pillar 2, at least one partner from an EU member state and at least 2 additional partners either from the EU member states and or associated countries. So what are associated countries? These are countries who have signified their partnership, to Horizon Europe. So a good example would be Turkey. A very good example. So, you can add Turkey as a partner. So if you have some of the universities represented here already have connections with Turkey. So apart from, let's say, Germany, you can also add Turkey and then maybe Spain, and then your institution in Vietnam to form this consortium. So there is no limit to the third country partners, not third world country, okay? As I always mention, not third world countries, but third countries. So meaning to say you have the EU member states, and then you have associated countries, and then you have third country partners. So, sorry, why is this? This is not my updated presentation. This is, sorry for that, but it should say Vietnam, not Indonesia. I think it didn't share that. Sorry, but I don't know why, but Is this the right presentation though? Wait, hold on. Sorry about that. Okay, I think there's something wrong with this, but anyway, this is the Horizon Europe Funding and Tenders portal. I wanted to say very clearly that Vietnam is a third country that is automatically funded by Horizon Europe. So if you have a proposal with a consortium and it is evaluated on a positive way, then it is then as a Vietnamese institution, a part of the consortium, you are automatically funded. Okay, so basically the challenge and the opportunities are there, and basically you just need to submit a proposal. Okay, so submit a good proposal, and we hope through this training you are able to do that. This is the Funding and Tenders portal, and this, of course, the presentation will be given to you later after I check about this updates. But please look at this site, because this is a site where you can find the calls. So the calls are all there. And you can choose Horizon Europe, for example, and then it gives you what are the open calls. Okay, so when you have the time, you can look at that together, and you will look at it as well together with Dalibor. Okay, so here you have the Marie Skłodowska actions. I also wanted to share this one because there's a lot of things that you can also become a partner of in this case. So this is for researchers training, skills, and career development at all stages of the career. Excellent research in all domains. This is international, cross-sectoral, and interdisciplinary. And of course, it has attractive working and employment conditions while you are with the consortium. And it structures impact on organizations through excellent programs. And again, this was emphasized before to us as well with most, that you are also developing your research and innovation partnerships with the private sector, so with industry and SMEs, and that is also a focus of the programs under Horizon Europe, and the Marie Skłodowska Curie actions is the same. So it's really nice that we are aligning together in this way. Okay, so this is just to tell you about the participation of ASEAN countries in MSCA. So if you look at that, Vietnam is, well, the number of projects is that's fourth from the list. So not too bad, but I think after this training, we will have so much more. I am expecting that. And on the number of participations of researchers, you can also see it's number 4 again. So not too bad, but I think we can do so much more with that. So you can see also the mobility of researchers from ASEAN. So again, but in this case, number of researchers of ASEAN nationality going to Europe, Vietnam is actually quite high, and I think the partnerships with the Marie Skłodowska Curie actions is actually very good in this case. So we hope that to continue this and to have more, of course. So these are under the MSCA. These are the actions. You have the doctoral networks. There's also a postdoc fellowship. There are staff exchanges. So please concentrate on the ones on top, because I think these are more fit for your purposes. And Dr. Dalibor can explain that a bit later, perhaps, as well. If you are, because I think based on your profile, most of you are already, well, I think half of you are already doctorate level and wanting to do a postdoc. So there are 2 kinds of postdocs, and this is most especially for NASATI, SATI, and MOST, because you can actually have also global postdoctoral fellows. So these are Europeans who come to Vietnam to be part of your research consortium. So they are funded by the EU, and then they become part of your team, basically. So that's one other way of doing it. So of course, the European postdoctoral fellowships, these are, Vietnamese researchers going to Europe. But there is another way, which is for Europeans also to come here to Vietnam, and that is the global postdoctoral fellowship. So these are high caliber researchers, and they are interested, of course, in Vietnam, and they are waiting for you to host them. So you will be the host of these fellows. Just to give you an idea of the contributions for recruited researchers. So I explained this in several institutions that I was invited to, but just to recap, you of course get a salary when you become a postdoc fellow under MSCA, but you also get a mobility allowance. And then if you are you have a partner or you have a family and you want to bring them with you, you can do that. And if you bring them with you, you have an additional 660 euros a month, to help with your expenses. So the idea, and there are also other allowances if they are applicable to you. So in this case, the idea really is to have work-life integration. So while you're doing excellent science and excellent research, of course, you are also making sure that you are taking care of your family, and your family is also enjoying, this wonderful opportunity together with you. So please just take a look at that. I won't go into that deeper. There is another program called Staff Exchanges. And this is again under MSCA. And with this, you can have academic and non-academic participants. Again, this is intersectoral and international. This is very important to note because I've been asked this several times. You do not hire in order to have staff exchange, to do staff exchange. Basically, it is to work with your existing staff. So for example, if you are from one of the universities and you join the consortium of the MSCA, there is no additional recruitment, but you capacitate or you give this opportunity to your existing staff. So this is the idea. And again, this is based on a common project on research and innovation, and this is for all scientific disciplines. So there is no predefined scientific priority. The limit is really just your proposal together with your consortium friends. Okay, so from there, I'd like to talk to you about the European Research Council. And this is an exciting grant. There are different grant schemes under the European Research Council, but this focus is really on frontier research. So if you are, and these are for those who already did their PhDs, okay? So if you have done your PhD 2 to 7 years after your PhD, you can apply for a starting grant. It's up to 1.5 million euros. Please just convert that to Vietnamese dong for 5 years. If you're a little bit more older than that, 7 to 12 years after your PhD, you can get up to 2 million euros for 5 years to fund your research, the whole research. And then if you are much more advanced with that, you can get up to 2.5 million euros for 5 years. And this is for the advanced grant. So you have to make sure that you have 10 years of achievements in research. And what I'm also excited to tell you is you can also do a synergy grant. So this synergy grant, you can have 2 to 4 principal investigators. So for example, there is, let's say, an Italian principal investigator, and then you have a Vietnamese principal investigator, and then they do a project together that is of interest to both of them. And they can have 10 million euros for 6 years, for this grant. So the training for today is not necessarily for the ERC because this is an individual research, but at least the practice of writing a proposal is there are similarities. So we hope that this will give you also the knowledge, to hopefully prepare as well when you're ready for the European Research Council grants. So that's just to give you an idea. It covers all domains of science. So it doesn't matter if you are in the natural sciences or you are in humanities or in the social sciences, you can apply for the ERC. There are a lot of achievements for the ERC, of course, and I always challenge that for the next, maybe in the next years that we see each other, there will be a Vietnamese grantee that is also posted there, also giving contributions to the Vietnamese community and not just, to the world. So there are additional startup funding that is also available. You can read about it in detail later because I'm going beyond my time. It's important to note that because most of you are part of institutions, Vietnamese institutions, and many of you are also part of government institutions, government departments. It's important to note that the grantee, so you can keep your affiliation with your home institute. So even if you are doing your research in Europe under the ERC, you can still keep your affiliation. So if you're affiliated with MOST, you are still part of MOST. Or if you are part of, let's say with the Hanoi University, then you are still with Hanoi University. You keep your affiliation. So this is good for your school then, this is good for your institution, while at the same time, you are also part of your European institution. So team members, of course, can be based outside of Europe. However, majority of the time, you have to work in Europe, at least 50%. So if you have particular questions about this, you can email us about this later. And of course, the grantee can move within Europe with the grant. So the grant actually follows you because it's your grant and you are creating your research. So just think about this, especially those who are already very much into research and you have a track record of frontier science, then please take a look about the ERC and not just the MSCA. So I wanted to show you just some calls. This is not the right. I'll give you some of the slides later. This is not the updated slide, but just to give you an idea of the calls. There is a call that's open in health, for example, in the cluster on health. So what is interesting, at least for us, for example, is the second one, which is on improving social and societal preparedness for disaster response and health emergencies. I'm sure a lot of you here can respond to this call. So please, you can take a look at this. You can click on the link and then see. And you can find out if there are opportunities for you to collaborate. Also, inside the funding and tenders portal, there is also a partner search. And right now, there are already those who are planning to respond to the calls, who are looking for partners everywhere. So just take the time as well to email them and say, hey, we are an institution here in Vietnam. We would love to collaborate with you. So you can see this in the calls as well. There are other slides in this, but this is, I will share to you perhaps after Dalibor's presentation, a little bit more about the calls that are also open. Very important point is that Vietnam has NCPs. So what are NCPs? These are national structures that have been established that will give personalized support on the spot. So basically, they give guidance on choosing the relevant Horizon Europe topics and types of action. They give advice on administrative procedures and contractual issues. There's a training and assistance on proposal writing, distribution of documentation like the forms, the guidelines, and the manuals, and of course, assistance in partner search. This event is actually in partnership with your NCPs. So I don't know if the NCPs are here, Miss Chang. Are all of the NCPs here, Miss Chang? Miss Lam as well. So or maybe with Sati or your NCPs are here. Yeah, so you have NCPs here, and this event is actually in partnership with your NCP. So we thank Ms. Lam as well for really heading this initiative in making sure that you are all together, also in partnership with the NCPs. So in the next months, we will continue to work with your NCPs to capacitate them so that they can also respond to you, to whatever needs you have. Okay, so that's a very important point. At this juncture, I'm very pleased to introduce to you a very good friend of mine. He has traveled so far. He traveled all the way from Bosnia and Herzegovina to be with you. He will be doing the training really on how to write an effective Horizon Europe proposal. He has been a part of a lot of projects of the EU. He has written so many proposals. Majority of them got funded, and also in different ways. So he has been a part of the Erasmus program, also on security, right? You've been part of security as well, of health, and then of course FP6. Which is a framework program way before, I'm not telling his age, but just to let you know. And then FP7, and then Horizon 2020, and now Horizon Europe. So it's really a pleasure to have him here, and he will guide you through his proposal. So please, at this point, you have actually microphones, okay? So they are not just for aesthetic purposes. They are for you to make this interactive, okay? So if you have a question, please just raise your hand or get his attention, get our attention, and then so that we can really address, the things that you feel are not clear, when it comes to responding for the proposal. All right. So just turn on your microphones. For those of you who are online, please use the Q&A function. And we will try also to accommodate as much as we can those who your questions coming online, okay? And just in case there are questions that we cannot answer right now, Dalibor and I will compile these questions, and then we will get back to you in the next days, all right? But as much as possible, please ask the question, okay? Whether in Vietnamese or, well, we cannot understand it, but we will use our headphones and wait for the interpretation, all right? So we thank, by the way, our excellent interpreters that are joining us today, and also our tech team. Thank you so much. I know it's quite a challenge with the different languages, but we are making it as easy as we can, hopefully, so that you can communicate. Some of you are excellent scientists, but maybe you feel not that confident to speak in English. Please do so in Vietnamese. Not to worry, because we have our excellent interpreters here. Okay, so in that, under this respect, thank you so much for the space, and I invite Dr. Dalibor. Thank you so much for joining us today, traveling all over, and the room is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Jenny. Hello, everyone. I hope you are already accommodated to the situation and that you are already getting knowledge very fast. So I don't want to make you more afraid, but there is a more complicated things to be told today. So this, what Jenny has been telling you, is just a warm-up. So just a small warm-up, because it's a huge potential of the program, and also the program has so many rules and so many things that needs to be explained. And I will try today to give you the first insight, and also to try to train you how to use these facilities of the Horizon Europe program in order to create a quality proposal. So as Jenny mentioned, so this one is not functioning very well. Yeah, so as Jenny mentioned, I'm coming from Bosnia and Herzegovina, and I'm in framework program since FP5, and this is FP9. So I will not tell the years also. So it's more than 15 years as a national contact point for Marie Sklodowska key reactions of mobility programs, and also I have more than 10 participation in the framework programs, and was also the member of so-called program committee, which is a higher instance than the national contact points, representing the countries, associated countries and the member countries in the decision-making system of the framework programs. Recently, I published 2 books on Horizon Europe. First one that you can see on top is on Serbian language for our researchers in Bosnia and Herzegovina and the former Yugoslavian countries. And the bottom down is interesting for you here in the room that are NCPs. This is a brief guide for NCPs how to provide proximity assistance to your researchers when dealing with Horizon Europe issues. So the NCPs that are interested for this book, they can download it from the website of the Regional Cooperation Council. That was the institution that committed me to do this book. So I would like to draw the attention to this book to the NCPs present in the room. Today, we are going to talk about several things, but Jenny and me, we agreed to structure it like this. First, I will give you the insight, what is the work program and what are the call for proposals, because this is very important. You need to know what it is requested from you to do in the project, then to align proposals with the Horizon Europe priorities, how to do this alignment, then also how to make consortium. Because as Jenny said, in pillar 1, this is a mono-beneficiary, and this is individual mobility of researchers, while in pillar 2, you need to work on institutional level, and you need to create a consortium and partnerships within the institutions in order to collaborate and to obtain the results. So, what is the work program? The work program is a document that is crucial for your knowledge and for your capacity building in order to understand what you need to do when it's a call for proposal open. It comes from the European Union strategic planning documents, like different strategies, different action plans, and compiles the ideas also for your projects. The work program is divided into the destinations. This is the novelty in Horizon Europe. These destinations are practically the global goals of the work program. Then the destinations, in order to achieve the destinations, there are different calls. The calls are the group of the topics that are inside these calls, which supposed to answer the objectives of these destinations. So when we are talking about the strategic level and planning the whole program, we go top down. But when we respond to these objectives and impact, we go bottom up. So you as a researcher, you need to respond to the topic. So the work program in general is an operative document, not strategic document, but operative document that gives you the insight what to do. It is made for a period of 2 consecutive years, which means the moment the work program is issued, you know 2 years in advance when the call on specific topic is going to be published. So this is very important to know. You know in advance, so you have sufficient time to prepare yourself to participate in the program. Just to remind you that to prepare one proposal, you need minimum 3 to 6 months. So this is an excellent approach that you have 2 years in advance overview of the calls that are going to be published in the near future. Work program also provide you with the details on the description of each of the topics, including the associated budget for this topic. So it means really what kind of money you are competing for, and also gives you the insight on average how many proposals are going to be funded with a specific call. Recently in Horizon Europe, every call topic now is dedicated to maximum 2 proposals to be funded. So it means it's a very high competition, but also the amounts of the funding are high. We are talking here about the several millions of euro per project. So it is not a couple of hundreds, couple of thousands, it's up to 5 million euros per project. So this is a big money, huge money. So you need to have a good consortium, good research idea, and to align with the rules for participation. These rules for participation are stored in the work programs. There is a possible update of the work program because sometimes we find out during the implementation that some things needs to be improved, added, amended. So pay attention. I will show you the site of the topic call topics, and on that website, on the Funding and Tenders portal, you will find these possible updates. What is the structure of the work program? The work program usually, as I mentioned, is for 2 years, and it's structured on the destinations that are covering calls and the topics. And here is an example. You have work program for health cluster, which is under the pillar 2. One of the destinations, there are 6 destinations under the health cluster. One of the destinations is titled Living and Working in a Health Promoting Environment. So all calls relevant to this destination are going to deal with this specific problem, how to enable and how to improve our living and working environment. Within this very huge and in a scope very wide destination, you have now specific call that is called environment and health. So now the calls are narrowing the things. They are trying to be more precise in defining what impact and outcomes are expected from your proposal. Because for Pillar 2, the proposals are based on top-down approach, which means the European Commission is giving the materials and is giving the request for your proposals. And with your ideas and with your methodologies, you are applying and trying to resolve the problem. I hope this is clear. So you as a researcher needs to find the idea and you need to propose it in order to create a proposal to solve the problems and meet the expected impacts of the call. And then at the end, we have the topic, which is in this case, evidence-based interventions for promotion of mental and physical health in changing working environment. So you see now the logic and how it comes one from the other. So you have to give the response for this topic, this specific topic. It's like a funnel. We go from the very wide to the very narrow things. This is how the work program looks when you download it, the front page and normally the page with the content. So it is easy for you to click on the title because it's a PDF document that has hyperlinks. And usually the work programs are huge documents. In this case, there are 212 pages for the health work program. So it's quite a big document. So to browse, you need some time and you need to introduce yourself with this, and you will see why this is important to be introduced with the work program and with everything. Sorry. So when you go to the funding and tenders portal and you search for the funding of your research, you type usually the keyword of your research and get the list of different calls that have this keyword introduced in this. So when you select one specific call that is of your interest, you will get a screen something like this. For example, this is a call between the European Union and African Union on food, and this is the topic title. It is important to know this topic title because it discovers the general idea behind this topic. So what is going to be the expected impact of your research? And then another important issue is a topic identifier. This is an identifier that is relevant to your further communication with your partners, with everyone, because according to this identifier, many things are linked. Then you have the call within the work program. So you can read more details about this. And then you also have this budget to see what kind of budget. If you click here, you will see what kind of budget and what kind of the action it is. In general, in the Horizon Europe program, it is advised for you to participate in 3 types of action. One is research and innovation action, and this is the type where the research is favorized. So you do research for the benefit of society. Innovation actions give the focus on innovative approach and the close to commercialization results, while the coordination and support actions are more relevant for networking and preparation of the policy documents for the European Union for further improvement of their general policies and planning of the strategies. So you have also the submission model, which can be 1-stage or 2-stage model. If we discuss about the 1-stage model, this means that the whole proposal is submitted at once. So you give the whole proposal. But if it's written 2-stage, in the first stage, you are going to submit just the concept note. And then if the concept note is selected, you will be able to create the full proposal. So in that case, there are 2 steps in the submission of the documents. You have normally the publishing dates and you have the date for the deadline. And here is one very interesting point. It is the status of the call, which can be ongoing, it can be past and forthcoming. So when you browse, it's important that you know in which status is your call. When you scroll down in the same page, you will come to the section that is called topic description. This is a crucial point of the whole page. This is the place where you need to read about the expected outcome. This is what the Commission expects you to achieve with your proposal. There is also a section about the scope of the topic. So it means in which volume you need to resolve the problem. So what is the scope of the problem that you need to resolve? Also, there is more details on what exactly to do, because there is also specific issues that we call cross-cutting issues, where we need to explain some elements that are going through the different pillars and the different clusters of the program. So usually the cross-cutting issues are relevant cross-cutting issues are like gender equality, social sciences, and humanities. And I have to say that the social sciences and humanities are integral part of every call in the programs. So if you are a scientist from social sciences and humanities, you are invited to participate in any call. There are no specific calls for social sciences and humanities. They can participate everywhere. Why? Simply, for example, mRNA vaccine against the COVID-19. You need social scientists to see the possibilities how to avoid resistance towards the vaccination. So this is where the social scientists give its contribution. And then in that case, you're having the holistic approach to resolving the problem. I hope this is clear, because sometimes people found themselves, we don't found ourselves in the work program, we cannot find our niche. Yes, there is always niche for everyone. You just need to be very clear in reading and try to figure out what is your possibility to participate. What is your strength? Without knowing that, you cannot go further. Also, what is important is this technology readiness level, which I'm going to tell you about this later on. But technology readiness level is required by the different actions. In research and innovation actions, it is a lower technology readiness level, and innovation actions require 6 and above technology readiness level in order to be as close as possible to the commercialization. Now, scrolling down, we go to the section of the destination where we would like to see what are the higher goals, what are so-called long-term effects that our project needs to initiate. So with the call topic, we need to initiate some short-term topics, but with the destination, those are the long-term topics. And with this, we need to see just, do we fit in those expected impact as it is planned? So I'm not going to stay here for long, because the next section is most important. Also, it is topic conditions and documents, where you have the information who can participate in the proposal, which means, is it internationally oriented proposal or it is European oriented proposal? So you will see if the component of international partnership is allowed here. Then also you will find the special conditions for the topic, which can be, for example, this TRL or something else. And then there is a section with the useful documents. These documents are very important. There are the template of the template. It means this is a document that will show you what is the template of application. But I'm warning you, this is a PDF document, you cannot edit it. And this is not the document that you need to fill in when submitting the application. It is some other document that you need to download in order to fill in and to convert to PDF back to system. That's a complete procedure, but we will talk about it later. So, and there is another specific document that I would like to point here. It is an assessment guide. So it is a paper that your evaluators are going to get. There are questions they need to answer by looking the text in your proposal. So you can cross-check yourself if you did well the writing of the proposal. Or you can give this paper to your colleague and then says, please answer these questions based on my proposal. Do you find these elements in my proposal? And that is one way to check the proposal before you submit it, which is very important. Then another important issue is that any country that I was giving these presentations in Africa, in ASEAN, in Japan, and everywhere, they have the problem to find a partner for consortium, to find an institution that would like to collaborate with them. If you scroll down further, because that's quite a huge page, you will find partner search facility. And in case that project is closed and it's not yet to be published, it's forthcoming, then you might have 0 or very small number of institutions interested. But there is a figure that shows 35 here. So you see that, for example, for this call, 35 institutions has already expressed the interest to participate in this specific call. Only for that specific call, 35 institutions have interest to participate. And when you click on that, you will get the table down there with a list of these institutions. And you have to be logged on in the system in order to send the message to partner institution to ask for the contact and to try to establish the communication with them. So you can filter also by the different specific filter fields. But in any case, this is very useful part of the funding and tenders portal. Most important, this is the beginning and ending of the submission process of your working with the funding and tenders portal, because here you need to submit the proposal. From this point on, the steps are starting, and it is almost on the bottom of the page of this call topic. So, for example, you will have one or several radio buttons here to click, depending on which type of action you would like to check. The submission process is done in 6 steps. And this step, by selecting the call topic, is a number 1. The step to select the type of the action with that radio button is a step 2, so you have to do it. And then click on submit. And you can do it even if you don't have the proposal. Why? Because when you click on submit, the next window that is going to open to you, and you have to be logged in, the next window that is open is the window where you are going to download the real application form. This is the point where you go to the real application form, the only merit document that you need to submit to the Commission. Everything on research on funding and tenders portal is electronic. There is no signatories, there are no stamps, there is no anything. It is only electronic stamp. So everything is done through this system. So once you download the application, it is a Word document accompanied with a usually Excel document for the budget. That's all what you need. After that, there are more specific documents that might be required, but in general, these 2 documents you need to convert to the PDF and go to the step 6 to submit it as a final document. Topic-related frequently asked questions. In case of the topic calls topic that are not so frequently used, you will not have any FAQ. But in the case, for example, of Marie Sklodowska-Curie actions, postdoctoral fellowships, you already have tons of different questions that are answered, asked by the researchers before. So before you want to send the question to anyone, check this part of your call topics. Maybe your answer is already there. If it's not, then your next instance for the answer is the national contact points. And the national contact points are trained, and they are here also. You can find them here in a Get Support. So they are trained to provide you with the first assistance to your proposal. Now, how to align proposals with the Horizon Europe? You know that European Commission has these 6 priorities, which is Green Deal, which is Digital Age, which is Work for People, which is Europe, Stronger Europe for the World, and also these other 2. I will not lose the time because I'm already running off my time for this presentation. But these documents, depending which is your concrete element of research, you need to study. You need to be informed about the content of these priorities, because these priorities are also transferred into the work program. And your proposal should meet the priorities here. So you see the things that I explained. The strategic component and the development goes top-down approach, and you as a researcher are using bottom-down approach to answer to these topics. So you are giving something that is a short-term effect made by this implementation, hoping that this is going to roll on some long-term and medium-term effects, and that it will contribute to the strategies of the European Union, but also important to UN Sustainable Development Goals, because all these policy priorities are also aligned to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So it's all somehow combined, and you are responding practically to the UN Sustainable Development Goals with your research. Very important is to notice that Horizon Europe is impact-oriented program. So the focus of your activities must be to provide impact, short-term, medium-term, long-term. And also it has to be scientific impact by creating new knowledge, new skills, strengthening the human capacities and the capital, and fostering this diffusion of knowledge within the open science approach. Which means with open science, we would like to share the knowledge and to extend the level of knowledge further. Then, very important, your proposal has to reflect some strong social or societal impact. This societal impact has to address some global challenge. And that global challenge is somehow incorporated in the clusters in Pillar 2. And then this is very important. It has to deliver benefits for the society. So it cannot be only research per se, research to be done for research only. Normally, there are calls where the basic research is going to be stimulated, but usually this is more applied research. So the impact has to be shown on the society. And also what is most important is we need to convince the society that these results are safe, that they are going to contribute to the advancement of the society. Normally, this is the funding program, so it means somebody is giving the money and expects some economic effects back. So these are the economic impacts, and they can be done through different creation of the new job positions, new different technologies and similar that are going to improve GDP, that are going to improve uptake of the research and innovation in the society. And then also this is going this all has objective to increase investments in research and innovation. Why? Because with more funds invested in research and innovation, you get more benefits for the GDP of the country. That is something that is in correlation. And I had in one of the presentations the diagram that shows the growth of the in some countries by investing more in R&I is investing more in your better GDP. So what consortium do you need and how to build it? So funding and tenders portal we already mentioned, so I will skip this slide, is a single page for everything, so a single website for all your activities. And the participation is practically for everyone. Your organization can be public, private, governmental, non-governmental, any other type. The only condition is that is officially recognized in your country, or in case of international important country organizations like Red Crescent, Red Cross, and similar things. So they have to be established in some legal way. So you have to prove the legal establishment of the organization participating. Which countries? Johnny mentioned it at the beginning, but I would like to say here that I'm using one phrase which I consider more politically correct, because we have member states, those are countries, 27 countries obliged to participate, and we have countries associated to the program. So the last group of the countries I like to call program third countries. So they are third countries to the program, not to some economic parameters or political parameters, but program third countries, in order to understand that this is just a group of countries that did not sign the association to the program. And hereby I would like to invite all of you to push your institutions and researchers also to express the willingness to be associated country to this program, because it's an important issue to become an associated country. You get more windows open to participate in the program than you have at the moment. So it is very good to try to fetch these steps and to go to the participation as an associated country. Also, Jenny explained about the consortium composition. One country has to be from the member state. This is the rule. And another two from member states or associated country, and then as many countries as you wish. Usually, the number of organizations involved in one proposal is between 10 and 15. So you can find your niche, definitely. I'm from Bosnia and Herzegovina, which is a very small country, which is less than 4 million inhabitants. So I think it's I don't know how many inhabitants Hanoi has, but it's approximately on that size. So we managed to do some projects. So you are also eligible to do that, and you just need to push your efforts to do it. So the size of the country doesn't matter. Only your excellence in research is important. From the aspect of participation in the program, you have beneficiaries. Those are the institutions getting the money directly from the coordinating institution, which means they are getting the funding. And then these beneficiaries are allowed to engage affiliated entities, third parties, subcontractors, or associated partners to conduct the part of the task that they are unable to do with own forces or resources. But these tasks must not be the core tasks of research. Those are the supportive tasks. And as a specific group of participants in the program, we have experts. And that can be you. Every one of you with PhD degree, you can apply to become an expert of the European Union to analyze the proposals submitted for the evaluation in your field. So just it is necessary that you have PhD degree and that you have good CV and bibliography, so that the people in commission that are asking for the researcher, for evaluators, they see that your background is very good and you can be an evaluator. And this is the best way to learn how to write a proposal, the best way, because you are instructed by the commission what to look at in the proposal. This is a scheme showing the communication between the parties inside the project when it is approved. So European Commission is represented by the project officers. Those are the people in the commission that are dealing with the 50, 60 projects, and they are running these projects on behalf of the commission. They are the liaisons. They are the liaisons in this case, and they are forwarding the money to the coordinator. So the coordinator is the only one that is getting the money and then distributing the money to the partners. Opposite direction, we go in reporting and submitting the deliverables of the project. So you as a partner are sending to the coordinator the deliverables. That institution is approving it or giving it back to you to do it better. And when it's okay, they are submitting to the project officer for final approval. Only then your deliverable is approved. So this is very important to know this way of thinking and this scheme. And the project officer is, I said, one person that is your friend, but not there to work instead of you, because that person has 50, 60 projects, and also it's an administrative clerk. So they are not maybe of the background that is your project, so they are just there to resolve some administrative problems that might appear. So the coordinator is the one that you need to pick up very carefully, because that one has the power to do the things properly and has to organize everything in line with the rules for participation. And for you as a program third country, the advice is to be a beneficiary, not a coordinating institution, because there are plenty of other rules that coordinator has to fulfill in order to manage the funding and to report to the commission. For you, I said it's important to be a beneficiary, but very good beneficiary, not like those on these pictures. So you have to collaborate with your partners on the project to join the forces in order to make the objectives of your project and to meet to establish the expected impact and to meet the idea of the whole project. You will be able to sign as a full partners. You will be able to sign the consortium agreement with the coordinator, and then to get the money for the part of the task that you need to do. And there is a specific group of expenditures, not many, for group of expenditures that you need to follow up. It's easy to learn, so don't worry about this. Most important are the personal costs, because we are calculating the personal costs per hour and per person month. The person month is a measure of number of hours that are by law regulated in your country. For example, in my country, we have 40 hours working week. So this means that 1 person month in my country is 160 hours. The same applies to the project. Your task might be 60 hours and you will be reimbursed for the 60 hours. But your task might be 2 months, then you will be reimbursed for the 2 months period. But not calendar months, but the person months, as I explained. So this is important to know. To establish consortium, your coordinator is going to require some information from your institution directly. It's a monthly personal cost, which means also including hourly rate, participant identification code. This is the thing that your institution has to have in order to participate in the program. And it means your institution has to be registered in the funding and tenders portal. Then short CV of personnel that is going to be involved directly in the implementation of actions. Short CV means maximum 2 paragraphs, but must be relevant. The CV must be relevant to the topic of the project, to the idea of the project. You might be good in different fields, but only the relevant is the field that you are for the topic doing. Then data for A2 form. This is a form that is done electronically based on the PIC number, and the technical contribution, so that the coordinator knows exactly what is your interest to do in this proposal. Also, there is a frequent question, how many partners? It depends on the project topic, depends on the number of tasks, of the type of the project, and other conditions stipulated in the work program. This is the issue for the negotiation when you are preparing the proposal. Therefore, the preparation of the proposal is so long-term and a time-consuming thing. But finding a partner, you can start do it right now, but you must do that. Nobody is going to find you if you are not proactive and try to make yourself more visible in international research circles. So the criteria for partner selection is like when you are trying to find someone to marry. So it has to be an interest and motivation also, and also to have resources. So you need to have resources to participate in this. So ask them the questions, but also ask yourself these questions in order to be partner to someone. So this is a twofold reading. So you can ask the partners, when asked for partners, ask these questions, but also when you offer yourself as a partner, give the answers to these questions. So this is in a brief what you have to have in mind selecting the partners for consortium, especially if you are coordinating institution. So you see that it depends on the project type, of the topic of research, on the geography, on a partner type, and expected impact. There are multiple different ways to combine the partners. Complementarity of partners must be done in all ways. There must be no redundancy. So you have a friend which is a scientist in the same field. He is your friend, and keep it as a friend. But for project, you need someone to complement you, not to compete with you with the knowledge inside the consortium, although it's your good friend. But you need to have someone to complete your skills to achieve the objectives of the project itself. There is also a very interesting skill matrix. For example, we have 5 partners and we have certain number of skills that those partners possess. And you see that each partner, according to its own skills, could be placed and work in one or more of the work packages in the project. This is very important to know, because you need to see your position. For you, it is important to know that your participation will be requested in the project management work package to collaborate with the other partners, and in dissemination, exploitation, and communication work package to disseminate and to spread the information and about the results of the project. So these are two work packages that are compulsory for any proposal. The rest of work packages depends on the project idea, research idea, number of partners, number of tasks, and mutual agreement between the partners. So when you discuss your participation in the proposal, don't take ad hoc everything what is offered to you. Try to see your possibility to meet the goals of this engagement, that you answer the engagement properly, not just to be there just for being there. So it is very important to be very pragmatic in this respect. Also, to be prepared when you are searching for partners, and also when you are working with the partners. When you search for partners, always make some preparation work. For example, on the registration desk, you could see that I brought of my institution leaflet, which is a university hospital. So this is a kind of things that you can bring always with you. But also one important issue is when you go for the seminars, when you go for the conferences or symposiums, and you have a research idea, make one A4 page with a description of your idea, not disclosing the elements of your idea, but a kind of teaser for partners to start communicate with you. Every project is an intellectual property, and therefore many people have been asking me, can you give me the proposal that was successful so that I can see how to write? No, I cannot give you, because I don't have authority to give you someone else's work. So this is clearly, you are protected also in the same way. And whenever you are negotiating, try to find the way to make the non-disclosure agreement before you submit the application. Because once you, after this teaser pass and the institution says, yes, we would like to collaborate, it's interesting idea to work on mRNA vaccine, but what we are going to do, if you are interested, we are going to develop the proposal together. Sometimes you will be able to jump into consortium with already developed proposal, and then you need to fit yourself. It's like when you're sitting in the crowded bus, but you still have the place. So you need to put yourself inside. So I hope this was not extra intensive. I tried to put it somehow in some frame to be easy to understand. There are plenty of other details relevant to this, but I don't want to frighten you. It is quite challenging to get into the actions, but once you entered in and you prove yourself as a good partner, then the invitation for participation will come by themselves. So the other institutions are going to invite you, and you will gain more of your research visibility. So if there is any question, and we have the time.
Any questions?
Yes,
yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Draka. Actually, I was with Horizon 2020, so maybe have some new updates from a new program. So I have some short questions. Based on past statistics, what likely skill that member state country expecting from third country like Vietnam?
Skills.
Right.
Depending on the project
or experiences.
The skills depends on the project and research idea. Sometimes they will ask you as a researcher. Sometimes they will ask your laboratory because it has capacities, it has equipment or something like that. So this is very variable.
So, for example, in Vietnam, we have positioning we have could be a pilot project in Vietnam, or we have academy staff that can contribute to the paper, for example, and we could do some provide the data set to the European country, right? If you have some statistics that for successful applications, so you could provide us.
Yes, so, I have it in my next presentation, exactly the statistics about Vietnam participation.
Okay.
So no problem. General, for example, in Horizon 2020, general success rate for the whole program was 17%. 17% was the success rate. Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions are very competitive actions, and the success rate goes from 12 to 15% for the postdoctoral fellowships and 20 to 25% for the staff exchange, for example. So it really depends on the topic, and it really depends on the interest of the academic community for a different problem.
Okay. So I saw the interesting slide about the impact, three regions like academic impacts and
societal and economic.
Social and economic. So do you have any quantitative criteria or evaluation table, the weight between those things?
Not for impact, but for the evaluation criteria in the Marie Skłodowska-Curie, there is a weighting system.
Yeah, right.
But for other projects within the Horizon Europe, you have only 3 evaluation criteria that I'm going to present in the next presentation, and they are equal between them. Sometimes, or for innovation actions, the most influential evaluation mark is from the impact, not from research. For research and innovation actions, research is more important. But these are the thin lines. For example, if 2 proposals have the same number of points, then they will see in a research and innovation action which proposal was better in the research.
So
explaining the research.
On the situation.
So this depends.
So could we, before moving to the next presentation, I have one more. So basically we have only 1 year for the work program 23-24. So I saw the strategic plan for the next stage, like a 25-27, right? So what expecting that work program will be published?
The work program for the 25-26.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, 27, yes, because it's now it is still discussion. It is going to be 2 years or 3 years program because of the end of the Horizon Europe as such. Usually in December there is a final version of the work program published at the portal of the European Commission.
You mean next year?
This year.
This year?
No, sorry, 24. 24. Okay. December 24, you will have the work program for the 25 and 26, and even 27, perhaps.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, please.
Thank you. My question is that, so basically the chance of success is better to be a part of an existing consortium. Can a third country institution create a consortium and lead the consortium?
Sure, I did it myself. I made the whole proposal and we invited one institution to be coordinator instead of us. So we did all the job and we were not coordinators. We have been even leading the meetings and everything, but so it is not forbidden. It's just a question of negotiations between your partners and you, what modalities you're going to apply. So to have better success, we selected the institutions with a high reputation, with the experience of having many proposals, because they will be easier to evaluate as a good coordinator. They will have more chances to win the proposal as someone who is the first time. But for example, in the widening excellence, spreading excellence and widening participation element, then this is the place where the non-skilled universities should be the coordinators. This is request. And then it's a completely opposite role. But now in the case of the Pillar 2 and Pillar 1, it is important to have a coordinating institution which is very strong with a significant experience in research and in a project management, because both of the sides have to be proven with the CV and with the details inside the application. Yeah, next one was also in this row. Someone else had a question here.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. So I'm not sure with my question is a duplicate with the previous one, but I'm wondering that just follow-up question that in case we have some skills and we are the partner outside of Europe, so probably the Europe partner also want to looking for some partner outside of Europe. So how can we publish our information in the website so that can looking for us?
Sorry. How can we?
So we have the website to search for the partner from Europe, right?
Okay.
And then I think partner from Europe also want to looking for information from institute from outside of Europe. We have some special skill. So how can we share or publish our information? Is there any place for us to do that?
One of the methods is to use this partner search facility that I presented. This is the place where your institution also can post the information and can say, we are institution from Vietnam, we possess this and this that might be relevant for your proposal, but this needs to be done by the person that is so-called LEAR, legal entity authorized representative. So that is the person that can sign the contract on behalf of your institution. That person has to put that text on the partner search profile. How to contact partners? You can contact your partner and express your interest on any way. I mentioned this one A4 teaser, one page of A4 teaser, and you can accompany with your CV, where your skills are underlined. So it can be on a multiple ways. Be innovative when presenting yourself and persuading someone to take you as a partner. So there is no limitation in this. Okay, some other question? Yes, please.
Thank you. I have a question about finding a partner. So suppose that if somebody graduates from Europe and then we want to make a consortium with his former institution, so would that be a good or bad idea to make such a consortium? And also, if we want to have the participation of an industrial company, is that possible?
Sure. Horizon Europe is strongly stimulating participation of so-called private sector or industrial sector or non-academic sector, if you wish. Non-academic sector, by definition, are all institutions don't giving the degree. So it means everything except universities and institutes that are able to issue the degree. They belong to academic. All others are non-academic sector. And in case of Marie Skłodowska key reactions, and also in case of Pillar 2, we are referring always to the international, intersectoral, and interdisciplinary composition of the consortium. So you can combine everything. For innovation action, it is almost compulsory to have industry in order to bring your result closer to the market. So you, as a researcher, you can demonstrate the research and the results of the research in the protected environment, let's say. But what about the real world system? You need a company for this. So this is strongly supported. So there is no problem with this. And to find the partners, you can use even alumni, you can use students associations, you can use any tool to find the partner.
So, but when we make a consortium with our former institution, because like we will have the same background, and then would it be good or?
Institution background is one thing.
Yeah.
But your personal background is another thing that you're going to supply CV that I mentioned in the presentation. You need as a partner in the project to give one or 2 paragraphs of your CV to see your quality. So that will be different, definitely.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing very important information about this. My question is on, as I understood from so many programs similar to this, any program have some priorities to give funding, right? So my question is on, in our Vietnamese, our case as a Vietnamese researcher, what could be the suggested topic for us to try to submit in this kind of program?
Okay, you have heard from a lady from the European Commission, from the EU delegation, sorry, that there are 3 priorities for Vietnam: water, and I forgot honestly the other 2, but one of them was water. I remember because my wife is dealing with the waters. She is a technologist, so I have to remember that one. But so every country, every Ministry of Science in the country gives a kind of guidelines of the research priorities. So these are your national priorities. The same national priorities you can apply to the participation in a Horizon Europe program. Sometimes the countries even support. You apply for this Horizon Europe, and then the country is giving additional funding for you because you are tackling the problem that is of national interest. When I was in Indonesia, for example, I think it was Indonesia, before I started the presentation, they gave me the warning. Don't talk about the palm oil. It's nationally protected. You don't have to do anything with this. Everything else is okay. But the same case with Vietnam. You may decide which is your priority and where you would like to participate. But again, you can participate in any domain that is meeting the UN SDG and the EU priorities. Some other questions? Or you can keep it for the second presentation. Yes, please.
Yes, thank you very much for your sharing. I'm from a software company.
Okay.
Yes, through your presentation, I understand that a project should include an institution coming from the state, right? And may include some other partners from countries, associated countries. So we are a company in Vietnam. So is there any similar, is there in many cases a company from Vietnam or other ASEAN country can join a project? And how about the rate of successful if a company in Vietnam can join a project from European? Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. First of all, I will tell you one small story. I hope Jenny will not mind because we're already out of the time even for the tea break. All of you have seen the movie Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Yes. And you know, the company that was dealing with the special effects for the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, they got the grant from the Horizon 2020. So it was a software company. They developed the algorithm to make these virtual environments and to make these effects. So the answer on your question is yes, you can participate. Just you have to be invited by the consortium, either as a partner or as an associated partner, as a beneficiary or associated partner. Sometimes your skills and your references will be needed as a beneficiary so that you are a member of the team. And sometimes you will do a part of the task for someone. And then that's also okay. For example, they are developing the platform for, I don't know, for investigating the melting of ice on Antarctica. And then you will be the one to make the simulation software. But sometimes they need you to do, for example, just a website. They will either subcontract you or attach you to the beneficiary, and then you will do that task. So it can go from very small tasks, from very small, in, let's say, in our world, because I'm also from IT background, some insignificant issues to the very complex issues using artificial intelligence, etc. Okay.
Okay, sorry, I know there are still some questions. Let's reserve that for the next round. So before we start again, I just would like to make an announcement as well. So 14th of November, we have the EU Vietnam Research and Innovation Days. So please mark that on your calendar. And also, another program of the European Commission is the Erasmus Plus. So Erasmus Plus is not just about students going to Europe. There are a lot more a lot more actions there. So the Erasmus Plus program also has the capacity building for higher education. Many of your institutions are part of that. There's also the Jean Monnet actions. There's the Erasmus Joint Master. So there are different funding lines under the Erasmus Plus program. So there will be, Vietnam is hosting will be the host country for the first meeting of the Erasmus Plus regional meeting, contact making and regional meeting. That will be on November 30 of this November 30 this year. So if you have not received the invitation, please email us so we can forward it to you. So it's of course this is not just for Vietnam. This is for the whole Asia Pacific. So there are institutional representatives coming here as well from different countries in Asia and also different countries from the Pacific. So there's people coming from Australia, from New Zealand, and of course also from Europe. So it's a really nice opportunity as well to get to know about the Erasmus Plus program. So of course we are talking about Horizon Europe now, but this is for those of you who are, because many of you are part of educational institutions, you also might be interested in it. So just wanted to make sure that you know about that, okay? So at this point, ready? Yes. At this point, I'd like to invite again. Can we ask everybody who is outside to join us here? You can. I think it's okay if you bring the coffee here, and to secretly nibble. Please come back. And if you are online, we are coming back to you again soon. There are questions also online, Dalibor. So if you don't mind, I'll ask you to. I'll read them and then you answer as well before you start with your presentation. Please join us once again. We hope you enjoyed your break. And if you haven't gone to the registration table, then please visit on your way out. We also have some little gifts for you. So please just go out if you haven't done so. Okay. All right. So let's have some seconds in. Okay, all right. So let's welcome again Dr. Dalibor. I will ask you questions.
Okay, shoot.
Okay, so all right. I hope the mic is working here.
It works.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So there are some questions online, and I'd like Dalibor to answer them. First question is, simple question. I would like to ask if Vietnamese researchers based in Vietnam can be a principal investigator or can be a PI for the project proposal.
Yes, especially in ERC and in Marii Skłodowska-Curie postdoctoral fellowships. And in the case of Marii Skłodowska-Curie doctoral networks, they can be a partner institution where they can be also PIs for the Vietnamese institution.
Okay, so I think that's clear. Next question, is there any program that does not require a consortium to apply? This means the only applicant is an institution from Vietnam.
The only institution that applies for Vietnam is not possible. it is possible that the Vietnamese researcher goes to European institution and together with European institution applies. That is eligible. But single Vietnamese institution to apply, this is not the case.
Okay, and I will combine these two questions. There are researchers looking for funding on water and environmental issues, and another on cancer. So where to direct them, please?
Oh, the one that is dealing with the water can find them in the clusters that are in a pillar 2. There is a cluster related to the food. For example, that's the place where it can be applied, and also it can be applied in the environment. It strictly now depends on the research topic, on the research idea that researcher has, because waters can be used in industry for cooling of the systems. They can be used in the medicine for the preparation of the medicaments. It can be various use of the water, so that must be more precise. And the one that you combined also was
cancer.
Cancer. Oh, cancer can be researched in two folds. One is under the work program of health, and there is a specific mission within the Horizon Europe program, EU mission called cancer. So everything is dedicated to the research of cancer. If you like to have this explained, it starts with a pre-screening of the cancer, then treatment of the cancer, then also finding the cure for cancer, then also how to enhance the quality of life of patients that have beaten the cancer and their families. So every element in this workflow is covered with this mission. And the missions are a specific part of the Horizon Europe program, where the program is requiring for the immediate results. While in a work program for health, these immediate results can be on a postpone. But in a mission, because the mission for the cancer is to decrease the number of victims or decrease the number of people having cancer by 3 million until 2030, this is something that needs to be done in some efficient way. And for this, we need some practical measures that are going to be effective immediately. So those are the missions.
Thank you.
So no other questions, Jenny? Okay. Okay, as we don't have so much time. Okay, now the second part of this presentation refers to some elements of the proposal writing itself. So we will be talking how to structure your proposal and how to address the evaluation criteria and which are the best practices to write, this is very important, clear and compelling proposal. So, structuring your proposal. It is very important to understand that we need to go into the phases. One phase is before you start to do anything. The other phase is when you start already to do something with your proposal. And then the last phase is the participation in the project when it is approved. So before the start, first, and the single rule that is utmost important is to get familiar with how the funding works. Other words, get familiarized with the rules for participation. What you can do, what you cannot. What are the priorities? What are the expected impacts? How it can be done and such things. Second, make sure that you are eligible. Maybe the call is not for you. Maybe your country is not eligible. So you have to see that in the work program. Then we have been speaking about this. It's find a partner, find the proper and adequate number of institutions to get your idea ongoing. Download the documents, as I said, in the step 3 of the submission process, and then jointly draft the application. I cannot underline how it is important that you do the drafting of the application jointly with other partners. It is very unusual when the partners meet and they don't know what they would like to do with the application. Then you are not the right partners for that application. You must know what you are going to bring into the application with your knowledge, with your intellectual property, and with your expectations. And then also you must know what is the money that you would like to do it for, based on the rules for participation in Horizon. So here are the steps in the project preparation for Pillar 2 especially. First is, this is what I call the learning process, where you get familiarized with these rules for participation. And then the second step is then to investigate the eligibility and possibilities. Is there call for this? If it's not call for this, maybe this is the call that I can adapt my idea. So my idea is flexible. I can stretch it or I can shrink it to fit in some call of the proposal that is open in the work program. So now I have the idea. I need the partners. So next step is create consortium. These partners can be found on different ways, but it's important that you have the minimum consortium as foreseen in the Horizon Europe program. And then you meet either online or on-site, depending, and you write the part of your proposal. Usually, first thing is to discuss the structure of your project proposal. How many work packages? How many work tasks inside each of the work packages? And then which partners can contribute to which work package and which task? So this is a crucial point where usually consortiums are survived or disappear. So in this point, they will agree on the application, or they will say, okay, we cannot collaborate. Let's see you next year in some other occasion and such things. So this is the point where you need to know and to discuss with your partners about the overall project idea and the vision of the tasks within the project. The last step, it's not so also insignificant, is the submission of the application, because you have to give the quality of the document to be uploaded in the system, and that is done by the coordinator. So if you are a partner in the project, if you're a beneficiary, you are not doing this step. So you are released of this. And therefore I said, for you with the less experience in the Horizon Europe or in European Union programs, it is a good idea to become only a beneficiary or a partner to learn the process. Then, when you feel yourself that you have found out possibilities and that you are strong enough to take the step forward and be a leader of this group, then that's up to you. It depends on your resources, on your confidence, on everything. So this is important to say. Common mistakes I divided in these 5 categories. Why this? Why now? What is the aim? Why like this? I mean, why we should do it like this? And why it is us to do this project? You have to have the answers on this before you finalize your project. So to explain why this and why now, it's very simple. Your project must be in time, which means it must correspond to the work program. It must be in the moment when it is necessary, when the Commission is requiring for this. And this is the issue that you have to see in the work program. So your idea will be compiling with this. And if it's not this moment, maybe your idea will be exploited in the next work program. So, okay, let's wait for the next work program. Or let's try to accommodate it somehow in the another group. What aim and why like this? Now, this is the issue of modalities. This is the issue of how your aims are going to be constructed. And remember that your aims have to correspond to the aims and these principles of the strategies of the Commission and UN SDGs. So what kind of methodology, which methods are going to be used? And why these methods are the best to be used? Why not other method? Maybe the other method is more cheap, it's more reliable. You have to prove it. So this is the issue that you have to pay attention. The quality is the key word here. Because with the quality, you can go forward. You can establish the connection between the partners and to try to figure out the best way to achieve the aims of the project and also the aims of the different strategies. Why you? It is always the biggest problem. Because we are different personalities. Some of us are always saying, I'm the best one, and there is no one better than me. The other, even they have better meritum, they said, oh, I doubt in myself. I'm very suspicious that I'm going to manage to do with this. So you need to be self-confident. You need to develop a certain level of this self-confidence in order to approach this. Don't be afraid of participating in something that is new. There will be errors, there will be mistakes, but the mistakes which are able to be repaired, those are not mistakes. Those are the tryouts. So don't be afraid to try, don't be afraid to look for the consortiums to join, because this is a learning process after all. You need to learn everything from the very scratch, from the very beginning, and to do that, you need to make that first step. So don't be afraid about these writing errors, about the process errors, etc. That's not too important. Eligibility of activities is very important that you know. More or less, every research activity is eligible, unless it deals with the human cloning, with the stem cells, with the destruction of human embryos and similar things. And you will find these eliminatory criteria in every work program. So don't worry about this. I presume not many of you are from the field from medicine or pharmaceutical field, but the people from medicine and from the pharmaceutical industry, they know that every activity in research in their field has to undergo the ethical pre-screening. So it means in the case of Horizon Europe program and the projects within the Horizon Europe that have these issues of ethics, they will be evaluated additionally on ethical issues. So, for example, you might not be aware of ethical issues, but you have to declare them if you are aware of it. The proposal itself is composed of two parts. Part A is electronic part, and it's an introductory part where your coordinator that is going to establish the consortium is using the data based on your participant identification code. Remember that I mentioned this is nine-digit figure that you are going to give to your coordinator, because this figure you got when you registered your company, your institution in the funding and tenders portal. And then based on that, the coordinator is going to assemble the consortium in online environment. So the partners will be listed in the part A, where you will need also to give the contact person name and the contact person details. So this is the task of the coordinator to complete the part A, and this is purely electronically done. So this is very easy. Like they want to say piece of cake, but it's not piece of cake, it's a piece of many cakes. Then this is important part. It's a part B where you are also participating. So this is the part where you are putting your information and what you are going to do in the project. And there are certain rules. And these are rules, again, the coordinator must respect them at the end, because it will happen that the coordinator will give you the template of application and say, please describe your task and send me back. Then you are going to be willing to present as many, as many information as necessary. As many information as necessary, so you will maybe go out of the limits. Every proposal has a strictly defined number of pages that you have at disposal to create the proposal. For example, in Marie Skłodowska-Curie postdoctoral fellowships, you have maximum 10 pages. In ERC grants, maximum 5 pages. In RIA and DIA projects in part 2, 45 up to 50 pages. So it all depends on the different elements in the program. And you have to pay respect to the template of the application. Don't change anything. Just enter the text in the application form. This is the most important. Don't make, I don't like this size, I don't like this font. Don't stretch it, don't do anything. There are strict rules written in the application form and in the work program about these formatting and completing requirements. So the structure of part B looks like this. You have 3 main parts corresponding to the 3 elements of the evaluation. The first element is the research excellence, where we need to pay attention on objectives and also on methodology of research. So here we are talking, and pay attention, here we are talking about the research methodology that is in the core of this project proposal. Not where and when you are going to do it, but how you are going to do it from the scientific point of view. For this, you have a number of pages in RIA and DIA actions. You see it's a quite small number of pages to describe research methodology, but you have to fit in this frame. Then, next part is impact, that has these 3 subchapters. In impact, you need to provide dissemination, exploitation, and communication tools, plans, and ways to promote the project results and project idea. This part of the template has 1 table that you need to fill in. And that table is strictly 2 pages only. So you have to be aware of what you are entering inside. Don't use acronyms if they are not explained before, because they will take you a lot of space. And you will see that it is quite intensive information that is required in that table. Part 3, quality and efficiency of implementation, is the last but not least important. It is about the tables inside the template that you have that you need to fill in. These tables are very structured. You simply enter the information that is required. For example, work package title, put the name of the work package, assign the work package number 1. Month of the beginning, month of the end. Description, it's 1 or 2 sentences to describe the work package objectives. So it's a full of tables, and this part is the easiest one. As for the putting the content inside, but it's also very tricky because you need to plan now the project management methodology. Now this is completely different from excellence methodology. In excellence methodology, you are using research methodology. What kind of tools, what kind of methods research? Am I going to use quantitative or qualitative analysis? But in the part B3, you are entering. This task is going to be done in a month 4, month 5 of the program, conducted by the partner that and that, in a number of hours, that and that. So this is more how you are, as a project management group, are going to implement this project. I hope this is clear. There is often mess up between excellence and impact. Often the objectives of research are given as an impact, or impact is given as an objective of research. This needs to be very precisely defined and not swap the positions, because the evaluators are instructed to search in excellence, research excellence. And if they find it somewhere else, they need to disregard it, because it does not belong there. So don't put something outside of their brackets where it's planned to do, but describe in details there. When describing, be precise, very much precise. Those coming from the engineer fields, they know what it means precise. It's a knife sharp precise. A plus B is C. There is nothing else. Those coming from the social sciences, they will need a little bit to adapt, because they get used to space and time. Now they will need to shrink a little bit and to focus their ideas and their thoughts a little bit more. But it's it's possible to do it. Don't worry. So, what are the steps to submit the proposal? This is just for your information. Again, the coordinator is submitting the proposal. First and most important, every one of you has to be registered. If you want to participate in the program, you have to register yourself at the funding and tenders portal. It's very simple. It's not painful. Nobody is going to charge you for anything. And it's like you are registering for the Facebook or LinkedIn. So it's a very simple process, but it's required to be done in order to participate in the project. Then you must select the call, topic, type of the action, create partner list, upload the documents, and submit the proposal. So these are the 6 steps that you have seen, that you see here on this slide. And it's very simple. And it's not time consuming, which is most important. The submission process itself can be done in I will not exaggerate if I can say in 5 months. Because before that, you have to prepare everything. Submission itself is just upload the PDFs, click submit, and that's all. Your proposal is submitted. And very important, submit it at least 7 days before the deadline. Because of the technical limitations of the servers in the commission, you might happen not to submit your proposal. Often there are so many proposers submitting the proposal in the last day, so that the server of the European Commission consider this as an attack. And normally the firewall blocks everything. So try to be punctual in time, prepare it early, and submit as many versions as you wish. It's important that you submit at least one. At the deadline, the submission will be closed. And the latest version that you entered into the system will be the valid one, not the previous one. As soon as you upload new one, the previous one is deleted. Only the newest one is there. So you may upload for any certainty, you may upload unfinished application and re-upload the document again when you are complete and when you are sure that your proposal is okay. Clear? Great. So what time is needed from the project idea to finished project? Here you have the timeline and also you have the milestones. Milestones you will also have to declare in your project, and you also have to declare the deliverables in your project. So it's very tough task, but not impossible to do. So the proposal preparation takes approximately up to 6 months. And then as a result, there is an application form that you are going to submit. Then the evaluation by the 3 independent evaluators is done in the period of 5 months. First part of the evaluation is done by REA, Research Executive Agency, which is an agency of the European Commission in charge for the implementation of Horizon Europe program. And it refers to admissibility and eligibility. I will explain. And then the remote evaluation by the individual evaluators, and then consensus meeting in Brussels. After that, if your proposal is successful, you are going to be invited in a grant agreement preparation phase that lasts for 3 months. As a result of this, the grant agreement will be signed, and on the date of the signature, which is again electronically, the Commission has a deadline of 30 to 45 days to deliver the funding to your bank account or to bank account of the coordinator, to be more precise. Then the implementation phase comes about 60 months, depending from 48 to 60 months, depending the type of the project, the topic, etc. And then you are implementing your project, uploading the deliverables, working happily and such things. And then the nightmare comes, the final report, because you need to justify everything. And that's what everyone is hate of. Everyone hates to write these reports, but unfortunately this must be done because there is a 5% of the guarantee fund that is kept from the original amount. So you need to justify even this 5% of the money. That will be given to the coordinator after the final report is approved. So it means when the final report is approved, then the commission has another deadline to deliver this 5% of retention. So you see that it's quite a long process, but this is a process that is, someone will say it's a heavily administratively overloaded, but I would say that it is really relaxing once when you enter into the system. When you know the system, it's easier. The problem with people is that they think it's complicated because they don't know it. They never tried it. So therefore I say again, try it and you will see the system. Then the evaluation process itself consists of these 4 steps. First step is, I said, is checking your eligibility criterion. Then individual evaluation by 3 independent evaluators. Bear in mind when writing the proposal and when giving something to read. These 3 evaluators are coming from 3 different countries, 3 different backgrounds. I mean, they will have the same research background as you, but they will have different approach in their education, different methodologies of learning, and different way of thinking about the problem. And you need to write such a clear proposal that every individual evaluator understands your idea. And that is the core of the art of writing the proposal. To write the sentences in such clear manner that everyone can understand you. Remember Einstein when he said, you don't know the problem if you cannot explain it to the baby. So the same principle you need to apply for this. The next, when each individual evaluator creates individual evaluation report and send it to commission about your proposal, the person inside the commission now gathering all the reports and sets the date for consensus group. What is happening on consensus group? There are people evaluating different projects because every evaluator has minimum 10 projects to evaluate. This is paid job normally. It's not for free. So they will be paid for this. And it's a quite nice money. So they have to meet in Brussels to defend their evaluation. Why did I give 5 points for excellence? Why did I give 1 point for impact? I have to explain both of the sides, good and bad. So I have to do it. And then on that, after that consensus group is finished, the evaluation summary report is created. So it's a joint evaluation summary report that is going for the panel review for the final ranking list, and that final ranking list is then published, and people will be informed via internal emailing system of the commission in the funding and tenders portal. They will be informed. The coordinator will receive evaluation summary report with the decision, is it approved or it is rejected? And with explanation, because for every decision that is written in the evaluation summary report, there has to be explanation. If the proposal is good, why is good? If the proposal is rejected, why it is rejected? So it is also for you as a participant to learn what can be better written. But this strongly depends on the evaluators and their way of expressing the results of the evaluation. As I said, only 3 criteria: excellence, impact, and quality and efficiency of implementation. In excellence, the project objectives, alpha and omega, including methodology. So this is what they are looking for. Be very clear and very precise. I had once an example of one project. They started the war happened in a period between 1941 and 45 and had significant impact on population, blah, blah. Who needs that? We don't care about that when you're writing the research proposal. You must be precise and concise. No history. If you mention history, it must be research history. What is the state of the art? And what you are contributing to the state of the art in the field. So that is the point that you need to describe. Then your project objectives, they must be very clear, measurable, and verifiable. So when you write the project objective, check if you can measure it, and what documents is necessary to verify it, and write that down. Also the methodology. Give the example of methodology in very few sentences. But also here you have to explain the gender dimension of the research. What does it mean? It does not mean only number of males or females. It means your research, what kind of influence is going to have on which of the genders? Or how, what kind of composition of the target group of your research has to be from the gender aspect. It seems maybe funny for someone, but for example, if we are looking in the field of medicine, we may ask ourselves if this medicament has the same effects on males and females. We need to check this, and therefore this gender consideration is very important. Also, you need to explain how you are respecting the open science approach. European partners know this very well, and let them do this task because they are more experienced in this. You may say, for example, that your university has open access repository of the PhD thesis, or you have your magazines in research magazines in open access modality, or any other example that you will use, and you will say that the research results will be published in our magazine, which is in open access and free of charge. So this is the elements that you need to introduce in the excellence. In impact, very briefly and very strongly to explain the outcomes and impacts. Create 3 plans. One is the dissemination plan, which I hope you know. I have to explain because this is again Brussels English. Dissemination means any form of communication of the research results to your peers, to people of the same profession. Exploitation means the activities to exploit the results in any possible way. And communication means use of different forms of communication to convey the message to wider public, which does not have to be the research public. So for all of these, you need to create different plans. And in each plan, you need to insert the messages that you intend to convey, to which target group and how frequently, and in which communication channel. You have to be very clear with this, and to see that you are going to inform practically everyone about your research, because these are the publicly collected funding, and these are the public money, this taxpayers' money. Everyone must know what you are doing with their money. So this is important to know. Dissemination, exploitation, and communication plans are the obligatory in the submission phase, but they can be upgraded, they can be adjusted during the project lifetime. So don't worry if you miss something in this moment, you can add it later on. Then the next one, quality and efficiency of the implementation. It is very important to show the complementarity of partners. So the skills and the knowledges of partners, how do they complement each other, and then to see the whole work plan, to have the pure picture of the work plan from the start to the beginning. It means besides the tables that you will get here, you will need to produce, for example, the Gantt chart for the time measure of every activity, and to see in time and space how the project is going to happen. Then also what is good to show with the pictures is the PERT diagram, to see the correlation between the work packages. What is the input in one work package, and if the exit results from one work package is used as an input to another one, to see these interdependencies between the work packages and partners. So to give the clear picture about the methodology for the implementation. The projects usually do have ethical issues. the moment you are in the project, there will be ethical issue of participation of third country. And the coordinator must make a mark that there is an ethical issue. And that ethical issue will be explained in a part B. But in the part A, it has to be declared, and the ethical review is going to be undertaken. And this is very fast ethical review. But in a case of medical research or the biology research that is dealing with some ethical issues, including the ethical issues of use of the animals, this has to be explained in the project proposal. And there are different documents that have to be consulted, like European Code for Conduct for Research Integrity, etc. So even the use of personal data, this is interesting for the social scientists, even this has to be declared as an ethical issue. So it might happen that your proposal will have another step in the evaluation, which is ethical review. So this is not probably, but very possible to happen. Security scrutiny is for those proposals that are on a border with results to be used in a military purpose or not civil use. So it also deals with some research that has very classified information, etc. And this kind of calls, you are not going to be invited, because these kind of calls are usually connected to the calls that are dealing with the European border security, etc. So don't worry about this security scrutiny, but you need to be aware that this kind of questions could be possibly rise in the preparation of the project. So what points you need to consider? First of all, when dealing in a preparation of proposal together with your partners, be sure that your part of the work is within the scope of the work of the whole project, that you are the part of the project, that you are not some branch that fall off from the tree, so that you are connected to the others. Then you need to demonstrate the idea and the level of the innovativeness of that idea, that idea is sufficiently ambitious to be funded, and that gives a progress towards beyond the state of the art. So that progress, in case of RIA and DIA, should be minimum. It does not have to be something breakthrough, but should move the borders of the state of the art. Then the methodology has to be either interdisciplinary or even multidisciplinary, with included gender dimension and open science practices, as I explained previously. And in the whole Horizon Europe program, the novelty is you must respect the principle of do not significant harm to environment. So even if you are dealing with robotics, you need to prove that you are not making anything that is going to harm the environment. Example, in robotics, you are using different materials, welding and maybe, I don't know, painting or whatever it is. What will happen with the scrap? What will happen with the waste? Pollution of the environment, how you are going to protect environment from pollution from such materials. So yes, you are dealing with robotics, but in that process, you will create some waste. How you are going to manage the waste not to harm the environment? That you need to also explain. This is just one example. Also, how your proposal is contributing to the impacts described in the work program. Practically, one advice is have the expected impacts on one page, and when writing the proposal, check in, I answered this one, I answered this one, I answered this one, and check them all. Then you will be sure that you did the good job. Then also what is important is measures to improve the impact or to maximize the impact. Those are the corrective measures and the measures that are explained in the dissemination, exploitation, and communication plan. You will have some risks to explain. There is no project without risk. If you don't provide the risk table, The evaluators most probably will say, these people are far too optimistic that there will be no problems. And we have seen that, for example, coronavirus made the problems to all projects. So there are some risks which you can influence, but there are some risks which you cannot influence, but you have to state them so that you are aware of such risks. And normally to produce the countermeasures to prevent or to make the corrective measures when needed. So the crucial issue is how to make your proposal interesting to your evaluators. Very often, if you start with the political story at the beginning of the proposal, it might happen that the evaluator is not going to read it at all. So they will say, this is just a lot of hollow phrases, empty text, no facts, no anything. I don't want to read this. And it will be evaluated negative. Then, for some parts of the proposal, they must be written strictly scientifically to explain the methodology, methods, etc. But for example, in impact part, you have to be more journalistically approached, to have more general language. Avoid jargons. This is very important. Avoid jargons and common acronyms, even they are everywhere accepted. First explain this acronym and then continue to use it. Because it may happen that the evaluators are not using the same acronyms, or they are not aware of this. Everything that you put inside the proposal must be somehow quantified, and it has some quality measures. So ensure also that the tables, diagrams, and all other illustrations that you have, they have some kind of follow-up and that they appear in the text. You may use tables and diagrams to save the space. This is especially important for the dissemination, exploitation, and the communication plans. Because with one table, you can shrink the text of one page to one table. And then you will save the space for something that is also important to be done. Also, this communication issue between the work packages and the hierarchy of the institutions inside the consortium, how the decision-making process is going to be done. This can be done with simple diagrams. And that is a very effective way to produce the text. And it is important that you are very consistent in the text. So when you're using researcher, you're using researcher. When you're using institution, use the word institution, but be very persuasive. So make an evaluator believe in your proposal the same way as you believe in the proposal, and be ready to make a compromise with your partners. Maybe not everything is feasible for the whole consortium. It's very important that you learn about this evaluation process and consult this self-evaluation document and try to put yourself in the evaluator's shoes. So let me just briefly say that you already participated 9 times in the Horizon Europe program with a success rate of 10%. So this is something that you can analyze. There is a Horizon dashboard on the funding and tenders portal. It's free, so you can go there and find on the Horizon dashboard country profile and see these figures. So in total, something less than 1 million is already withdrawn from the budget of the Horizon Europe. And some takeaway messages is that you are eligible to participate. Even if it's not written that it is for international collaboration, it is possible to participate if you find yourself way how to join the consortium. And if the consortium find out that you are a valuable partner for this, then the most important is try and don't give up. Because it will happen that in the first time you will fail, but next time you might be successful, because we are learning from our failures. And even more important messages. You belong to one of these 2 groups of peoples. So it is up to you to decide which group you belong. To the one that is just going to cry and do nothing, or someone who is going to start to fight to do something to be better. And regardless the funding you have, regardless the resources you have, still you might have the problem because you are not using properly resources. These projects are going to teach you how to use the resources adequately, because in these projects, there is no profit. This is just research projects to fund your research and to reach your objective. And also, no one is going to help you if you are just looking at this and put your hands in your pockets and do nothing. So the proactivity from your side is the ultimate phrase. You must be proactive. You need to push the things. You need to go further with this and to fight for your position and everything. With this, I would like to thank you for the attention. I hope I was clear enough. I was not boring too much because I was passing something that I have in my books on 300 pages. So, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So now a very critical part of the program is, of course, for you to ask your questions. So now we have about
Whatever.
half an hour, I guess, for you to ask the questions.
Yes, please. The mics are not on.
Okay, so again, thanks for the impressive detailed instruction. And so I'm representing, and we use a lot of satellite image. So usually our research will require a very big funding. So my question is, does the amount of funding influence our accepted rate for our proposal?
Does your amount affect
Does the estimation amount of funding, we estimate the amount very big, so is it influence the accepted rate?
First of all, your coordinator is going to kill you if you ask too much money and asking more money than he or she is going to get. Because they are doing a 3 times more job than you are going to do in the project. But these kind of costs, like for satellite imaging and some similar things, they're calculated on the real-time costs. So it means you need to provide a real support to the coordinator saying this really costs this amount of money. And then it might happen that the coordinator will say, decrease that amount or make less number of pictures because we don't have that amount of money at disposal.
So if our partner can accept a certain fund amount is the same as what we expect, or it could be different?
No. You decide and negotiate the amount during the preparation phase of the project. So when you said, I need 15 satellite images, and to process these 15 satellite images, I need 3 days, which means 3 times 8, 24 hours. My daily rate or hourly rate is $5, which means 24 hours times $5 plus the costs of the satellite images. This is the cost.
Okay.
So that is the cost.
Okay.
Nothing else. Or I mean, if your hourly rate is $100, yes, okay.
So I mean, put simply, if it is needed for the project, and you can justify that that's the amount that you need for the project, that's completely fine. So it's not like, oh, this person asked for less, so we will fund this person. No, it's more the excellence of the science.
Okay.
So if it is needed for your consortium, then you put it there, and then if it's a good proposal, then it's approved.
Okay.
But if you ask Rolex to be in time for the meeting, no.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, please.
Thank you. In the last slide, you say that we can try again. In the case of trying again with the same or similar proposal to different clusters, will it be possible, or the committees will have different opinions on that?
About resubmission, there is a tricky point. Usually the calls that are once published, they are not published anymore. So this is very, very often. Sometimes they publish the call again on the same topic. And then in that case, you can reapply with the same consortium or with a different consortium. This is not a problem because you are writing a new proposal. So they don't care about the composition of consortium. In case of Marie Skłodowska key reactions, you are limited. You need to have 80 points in order to resubmit next time. If you are below 80 points, you will be prevented to resubmit. So that's all. Next question, please. Yes. Yeah, microphone was here somewhere.
So firstly, I would like to send our thanks to Jenny and to Delibers for hosting these very amazing workshops. So actually, this one was quite valuable to us as an NCP, as well as all the people here, all the scientists, and firstly, you. So I have a lot of questions. I listen to 5.
Okay,
so
one, please.
One by one. So I think the first one is, can one unit, for example, one institute, they can apply simultaneously many proposals at once.
The application or application to the same call or to the different calls.
So even on the same call or different call. So can they do that?
There is a question, why should one university that has 3 institutes dealing with that topic, why it should be a competitor itself? That's the first one. Then the second one is you may apply. Normally, this is not forbidden, but it's not does not have a big sense because you're competing yourself with this. And the next one is that the institution that is recognized in the system is applying one PIC number. So it will appear several times. So the commission will be saying, okay, now let's see what these are doing really, if they are applying to the same call. Why do they apply 2 times for the same call? So it's not forbidden, but they will pay attention. And then if you are applying to the different calls, that's eligible. So for example, in the history, in the environment, in the policy, that's okay.
Okay, nice.
Because universities in Europe are integrated. So if one faculty applies in electrotechnical engineering, it does not mean that they cannot apply in biology. Simply.
Okay, so okay, that is one. So the other one is about that guy, so the gentleman they're asking about the so I want to ask, so at which point should the Vietnamese, for example, like when institutions they maybe do something to protect themselves, to protect their IP and intellectual property or knowledge. So maybe at which point should they sign NDA, or are there ways for them to protect themselves?
Okay, let me explain IP rules. The situation is the following. Once the project goes to the preparation phase, means you gathered the consortium members and you started to develop project idea. You need to be aware of what intellectual property you are bringing into the project. This is called background. So this is called background of IP. This is what you need to define what you as a researcher, what you bring as a background. Then when the project is approved and you start the implementation, the first one to be done is the consortium agreement, to be signed between you as a partner and the coordinator. Because you don't sign the contract with the commission, only coordinator is signing the grant agreement, and then you sign the consortium agreement with the project coordinator. In that consortium agreement, which is usually used DESCA template, you describe together with the partners the IP rules, what you inserted in, and who is the owner. But remember that if your IP is needed to your partner to perform the task, you have to grant either the license or any kind of IP approval in order to fulfill the task. You cannot prevent it. So it's the rule. And then for anything of IP that is created during the project, we call it foreground IP. That foreground IP belongs to the partner that created it. If 2 or 3 or 4 partners created the same IP, they decide which portion, which percentage of IP they belong to. And usually this is in the DESCA template of consortium agreement. So I hope it's clear.
So that is basically about the IP, which will happen maybe after the grant agreement was signed. I was asking about, so before they can reach the grant agreement, they have to work together in drafting the proposal.
I said background. You must know what background you are putting into the project. Background IP. So you already said to the partners, okay, for this project, I'm introducing a protocol which is not anywhere published. It's my protocol. I own it. I put it as an IP in my national IP register. So I'm using this protocol. If you need this protocol, for example, for partner B to do some research, then I either have to give him the license or to give him the, I don't know what kind of IP modality to use, but not to own. So it can use for the project purposes, cannot make the commercialization of that. So this is protected from the beginning. So it is yours. So you define it and state that in the consortium agreement. Or case of software. For example, I have software for simulations, and they need simulations for the environment impact. So I will give them the rights to use my software. They will get the username and password, and this is the licensing. So they will be able to use, but this is mine, and this is my IP protected.
Okay, so another point, so it is not about IP anymore. So like even before the IP. So for example, like some Vietnamese scientists, they spend about maybe 3 to 4 months to join the consortium and drafting the draft proposal. Are there any kind of a case study before that one unit, they put a lot of effort on drafting, and then once upon that you said that in the presentation they got dropped after they cannot justify their own and the quality of the research. Does that happen to any organization before?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, because they didn't find common language. I told you, in order to participate in the project, you need to make compromises. Sometimes you cannot get everything that you expect, because also someone else wants to do this portion of the task. So it means these two partners were not fully complement, they were partially competing each other. So therefore I said, when you are selecting the partner, they must be complementary, not competing. Because then they will ask the portion of the money that belongs to this task, and you will also want to do this. So it's better to have complementary partners to have the flow of these activities than to have competing between them.
Okay, got it. So another question. I believe that scientists here has not heard about the blind evaluations. So I understand that blind evaluation is that when the commissioner evaluates the proposal, no names or no identification must appear on that, or that is failed. So when it is done, and which parties will do it, like the coordinator will do it, or at which stage?
No, this is done automatically in the system. So the obligation of the coordinator is to check the proposal inside the part B3, that there are no names or identification of institutions in the text. So the blind evaluation is the same process as I presented here. So the same 4 steps. So it's included inside, it's just modality of this. So in the application form, in the part B3, you must not enter the names of the institutions, except in a part B3 where is these tables, task leader, group leader, and such things, and also explaining the hierarchy of the management. This kind of text will be exempt from the evaluators because it has to protect the identity. The identities must be not disclosed. They must be protected. So that is the blind evaluation.
Okay, thank you very much. So that is what I want to ask.
This is novelty, so it's okay.
Sorry?
This is the novelty in the process.
Okay. So now I would like to ask two questions about the role of the government and how we can participate on the Horizon Europe and supporting other Europe. So the first question for us is, you suggest on the roles of the government, for example, like SATI, upon joining a proposal with the academia or maybe a business organization to apply for Horizon Europe project? Because I saw on the database that the community people province only participate with maybe one enterprises to apply for a project successfully. So I'd like to ask about your suggestions and idea, which activities that government agency can contribute.
As Horizon Europe is a purely research program, it is not advised for government to participate because the government institutions are not research institutions by definition. They might be of research interest, but they are not research institutions. Then there is a second trap. Usually, the governmental employees are prohibited to have additional source of funding. So how you are going to justify the funds? For example, you have been working and you cannot receive the compensation for work. This is the problem for consortium. The problem for consortium is to have less money is the same equality as to have too much money, because they cannot justify the money. So when the government organization wants to participate in the Horizon Europe program, usually they participate as an associated partner. So that is the best way to be associated to the program, because in that way, their role is not directly to the research topic, but to enable research topic to enter into the strategy or governmental documents that are going to be produced by the government. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So they are not dealing with research, but the effects of the research can influence and can be tried to implement into the governmental documents and the strategies to improve the R&I environment. So I would not advise direct participation of the governmental institutions in the program unless it is required by the work program.
Okay, got it. So the last but not least, probably I would like to ask you and Jeremy as well. So actually we are the NCP in Vietnam. We are quite new with the NCP network. So I'd like to ask about what are the roles of NCP in Vietnam as you see, and how we can interact between NCP of Vietnam and EURAXESS ASEAN and you, because I believe that maybe some questions should go to journalists or you directly, or some question that the scientists can go to us for reducing your time, because I believe that you, like Jenny and you got kind of a worldwide programs.
Sure. Being the one that established EURAXESS Bosnia and Herzegovina in 2010, and then in 2021 established EURAXESS Africa, and unfortunately didn't manage to complete the establishment of EURAXESS Russia because of the happenings. I was part of EURAXESS since a long time ago. EURAXESS is your first source of information. So I would invite you, if not already registered at EURAXESS ASEAN, to register, because you will get to your mailbox the flash notes and the communication from EURAXESS about the possibilities and about the events that are going to happen that might be of interest for you. So the role of EURAXESS is informative. On the other side, the role of the NCPs is explanatory. So the NCPs need to explain the things that EURAXESS don't know, roles for participation in depth, to explain the processes. This is the job that EURAXESS is not supposed to do, but is doing also. But you, as an NCP, you are priority number one contact in your country for the researchers to ask you the questions. I would advise you all, I give the link to Jenny, so she's going to distribute this book that I showed on the first slide, the brief guide for NCPs. It was created for the NCPs of Western Balkans, but it can be used also for your NCPs. The most important is go to Brussels regularly for the meetings when invited. This is most important. develop the network with other friends NCPs, because once your researcher is asking you a question and you don't know, the easiest way is to contact that friend and ask the question, because they are senior in the network and they know the answer. They have been having these situations. The same was between two of us, because we were NCPs also, both of us. When I have a question, I ask Jenny or she asks me. I mean, I'm longer in the NCP network than Jenny, but okay. So the issue is that NCP should give this exploratory, so that they explain to people what and how to do. So try to train yourself to translate the Brussels language, English, to your native language, so that they can understand what is beneficiary, what is partner, what is the pre-finding, what is the guarantee fund, how to calculate person month, how to calculate different budget items, unit costs. There are many things that you need to explain them. And I have that experience, so believe me, a lot of work. Okay.
Yeah, okay. My answer to that is the best case scenario is for the NCPs in Vietnam to be the ones guiding the researchers and scientists applying for Vietnam. But I know that you are still building your capacities, and that's the reason why we're here. But having said that, hopefully in the next years, you can do it, on your own autonomously. So as I mentioned the last time we spoke, it's very important because I sent information on the meeting in Malta. So if you can, find the time to together with us, with the other NCPs, because it's really great to have like a sharing of best practices, how you did this, how you advise these specific clients, so it's very important to attend the trainings and also the twinning. So the twinning, there are a lot of twinning exercises, among NCPs. But as you are developing still, we will be here for you, of course, as much as we can. Yeah.
It's not that I'm selling myself, but for example, Bosnia and Herzegovina NCPs got the grant from our Austrian Development Agency. So the Austrian Development Agency made a program for NCPs of Bosnia and Herzegovina to educate them to be NCPs. Maybe you can, in your country, try to find the funding or something like that, to invite 1 or 2 experienced NCPs and make the training in 1 week or something like that, so that they train you how to be a good NCP. So yeah, this is what we have done with the Austrians. They did it to us. So
another important point is as well, there is a service facility on the global gateway. So I think you participated in that and they communicated with you. They are offering training specific to NCPs. I think I said that already, but if I haven't, then I'll send it again. So we've done that together with for ASEAN for the regional one. But perhaps we can also ask them. I can contact them, and then we can also have like a specific training for NCPs. So, but they are there. They just started a year ago or early this year. Specifically to support national contact points in third countries. So that's another service facility.
Sure, that's what I'm just saying.
Yeah, but it's with
but it's already paid. Huh? So it's already paid training, so they can use opportunity to get it for free. So
yeah, but send a request.
So you mean that the global service facility?
Exactly. Yeah.
I already sent the proposal. They accepted.
Yeah, you accepted already.
Yeah. The assessment was supported by them, and then they promised to host a 2 training program.
Yeah. If you have other ideas, just let them know.
Okay. Some other question? Yes.
I just want to know, if possible, who is the head of the NCPs in Vietnam and how we can contact.
If that one is here, it is called the national contact, national coordinator of the national coordinator of the NCP.
There's a question on who is the head NCP. Yeah. Maybe you can answer. Yeah.
Please come here.
Good question.
Yeah, you can come here.
Yeah, who's the head NCP, the NCP coordinator, NCP coordinator?
No, you can use this mic.
Yeah, what's the name? Miss Han. It's basically with his office.
But you can find the contact details on the funding and tenders portal, get support, NCP,
Maybe-
and then select the list of the
Maybe
countries.
because she's not here, maybe you can, we
Okay,
can get the.
so a little bit of explanations. So in Vietnam, SCP is quite new. So MOSC, the Ministry of Science and Technology. And what is assigned to and this kind of so from study for the question for our minute, at the end of the time, we have international question. And we can't need to and I wish you don't have to I think on supporting the so anyway, anyone you can contact the channel or this or
You introduce yourself as well.
International cooperation that we from under we send a list for technology innovation for study. So as you heard that generates global space facilities, we already submitted a proposal to them to get get a list of having assessment needs to join around the world. I already said the link for you to participate. You will get a letter. And we also asked them to support on 2 events, one for SCP and one for the participants. So after getting the assessment, we asked them which specifically what are the most important thing besides the writing part that which already implemented here by Dalibor and Jenny. So
you have 2 times problem. First time to write the proposal, and the next time when it's approved, you have the problem to implement it. So be very careful what you are planning to do, because the implementation is also a problem. Okay, next question.
Okay, can I do questions on the
Sure.
online, please? Okay. First question, regarding ethical practices, what is the view of the Horizon Europe Committee on the involvement of generative AI, so ChatGPT, blah, 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 during the proposal writing process?
It will be ethically considered as a problem, definitely, because the artificial intelligence is a specific domain, and it's regulated with the EU regulation. So those writing the proposal in artificial intelligence must be aware of the novel regulations of the European Union relevant to use of artificial intelligence in research or in general. So this is what I can only say, because ethical issues are going to be definitely checked, because artificial intelligence is one of the ethical issues that is strictly checked. Not only GTP, neural networks, fuzzy systems, everything.
Okay, okay. Several are asking for successful proposals that they can look at. Is there a place where they can look at successful proposals?
In next life. I said that every proposal is the intellectual property, so they can find the proposal only by those persons that created them and ask them to give them the proposals. Otherwise, it is not advisable. For this almost 20 years that I'm working in this field, I would say that using the others' proposals to write your proposal is a big mistake. You got misled. You got misled by the thoughts of those that have been writing this proposal. Every proposal is a different. So when I'm pre-screening the proposals, or when the people are asking me to check the proposal before submission. I'm always telling them I will do that. Just I don't want to be involved in the writing of the proposal. Because if I write the proposal together with you, I have the same mindset. I don't have another view on this. I cannot be critical. And I want you to succeed. So if I want you to succeed, then I need to be critical towards you, to try to kill your project. If I manage to kill your project, then you didn't do a good job. The evaluators will be even worse. But if I don't find the problem, then you may hope that the evaluators also will not have the problem. So the best way is to consider the project as a PhD thesis. So the same efforts you invested to make your PhD thesis, you need to invest the same efforts in the same manner to write the proposal. So this is only I can say. Don't be misled with the proposals that somebody else written, or that you engage some agency to write it instead of you. This is a wrong approach. Even NCPs cannot write the proposals for you. They are prohibited to do that, and they don't know how to do that also, believe me.
Hey. Except for those who are alumni already. Okay. Any questions? Any more questions?
Just protecting my colleagues.
No more?
No, it's not a problem. For those that are willing to get funded and to study PhD in Europe, it is easy way. Go to EURAXESS jobs, click on find funding, and then you will get the list of open positions in Europe for the research positions. Every university in European Union is obliged to publish open research positions on EURAXESS jobs. And you apply there. Simply contact the person that is in contact for that fellowship and continue with the application process. The same refers for the postdoctoral fellowships. There are also many offers to host postdoctoral fellowships, but it's under the find hosting. It's not fund funding.
I mean, writing the proposal like writing
Yeah, that's true. There are only for postdoc and for PhD under Marie Curie. There are actually generous, alumni who post it on either on their own website or like in not chat groups, Facebook groups as well. So you can take a look. I have a friend of mine who put hers, was successful. Another one as well, who was the chair, Tatas, the chair of the Marie Curie Alumni Association before me, also shared his successful proposal. So there are those. I mean, for the individual proposals, you can see them. But for Pillar 2, which is for institutions, you check Cordis. I mean, it may not give you like how it's written as it is in the proposal, but all of the important information, they're all there. Everything is there, including the partners and the funding that they get.
So it's all from the list from dashboard. On the dashboard, there are 4 organizations that apply for your success with. So
yeah, that's why.
Em biết vì sao bây giờ bật đâu.
But recently, new come up.
You have to simply, the organizers have to invite them.
Yes.
We're trying to invite one consortium, SOS Water. Yeah.
Sure. It is always good to have the best experience practice to present by your nationals locally, because then you will see that it is possible to do it. Not a kind of impossible task. It is possible, but needs a certain effort.
One last question, Dalibor. Where can I find further information for evaluation process? How the evaluators and reviewers measure your proposal application?
How do you evaluate your students? Do you have something infirm that you said this is the scale or not? This is a evaluation of the proposal is a kind of subjective view of the evaluator on the text that you have written. So therefore, I said that you need to be very precise and to answer all the questions that are relevant for that part of the text. Some instructions are available on the site of the Research Executive Agency. There is a kind of corner for evaluators, so you can find something there, but really something that evaluators are getting as an experience and the knowledge is at the debriefing that is done by the Research Executive Agency when the evaluators are selected. So they get the complete instruction how they are going to evaluate the proposal. What is behind this? Normally, the commission, the Research Executive Agency is keeping for the evaluators, and the self-evaluation form that I told you on a call topic page is something that it is mostly important for you, because those are the questions that are going to be directly asked by the evaluators to your proposal. So you must explain these issues and also to have in mind expected impacts and outcomes that are listed in the work program.
But for NCPs, you have videos, videos of the training on evaluation. Yeah. So if it's in the resources, but if you can't find it, let me know, and then you can share it also to the rest. For Net for Mobility and MSA Net. Okay, I think that's it. Let's give a hand to Dr.
One other question.
Yes, please, go ahead.
So basically, I heard that all the research is funded by money from taxpayer. And normally, I don't know if having been published. Is it right? The place that
Yeah, because I would like to consult actually the old project that have been done in the case of this program, or at least of the title of the old project. And is it possible to have the access to this list or this document or something? Yeah, that's my question. Yeah.
It's the link. Sorry, I was putting all of the links on the chat group.
Okay.
Send it together with the presentations.
Okay, so great. Thank you.
So no problem.
Yeah. If I don't, no more. All right. Give our hand to Dr.
Thank you.
Thank you. Your water bottle. Very special. Okay, so that was quite an afternoon. We thank everybody for their active participation. I've been answering, I think, over 30 questions also online. And if your question has not been answered, Dalibor and I will compile all of the questions. And of course, most is also doing a survey so that we get to know you a bit more, and then we see also how we can help you further. So for the next step, so this is just the beginning. Now you have an overview not only of the Horizon Europe, but how to submit a strong proposal. I know that you still need a bit more hand-holding when you are ready to really submit one. And it's quite a diversity. Some of you want to submit as an individual research, but there are also those who want to submit together with the institution. So I think we have to sift through that. We are working very closely with Miss Chang, and of course with also with Sati and Nasati as well. So we will continue this communication. You also have your NCPs; they will be more equipped as well. So for the next steps, number one, we suggest that you attend the EU Research and Innovation Days, whether on site or online. We will try to make it hybrid again. The reason for that is, number one, you will of course hear European speakers talk a little bit more about funding opportunities, not just Horizon Europe, but for example, there is a new funding program called the EU Southeast Asia Joint Funding Scheme. That's just one. The other reason is the EU member states also have their funding programs, and they will be presenting it there. As of the moment, we have 5 European countries who have signified their interest in sharing their research and innovation programs for Vietnam for now and for the succeeding years. The other purpose is also for you to listen to best practices. One of your colleagues here will be speaking, for example, on the successful project with H2020, but there are those also who got funding for Horizon Europe who also will be speaking. So, and we are also inviting businesses there, and we are hoping that we can have academia, government and private sector partnerships as well. So again, to reiterate what Dalibor was saying, like the case of NASDA in Thailand, NASDA has been a part of several Horizon projects, but the money is you can't get money, but you can be part of the consortium. So we talk about that a bit later, but you can participate. That's the thing. Okay, and the other thing as well is. If you have a particular idea on how to move forward, so if you say, okay, Jenny, we need more understanding on how to actually write the proposal, like on writing a PhD, let's say, if majority of you want to do a PhD training, then we can probably plan that together with most of the EU delegation so that we have a specific training for that. Because right now it's different things for different opportunities. So just to tailor fit it, but please let us know so that we know as well what you need, and then together, of course, with your NCPs. Anything else I forgot? No, nothing. So before that, before you go, I'd like to thank those who are joining us online, who have stayed. You're the only ones who will get the certificates, by the way. And those who are on site who also stayed until the end, you will be getting the certificates after you do the survey that's coming from most. So please answer the survey. The presentations will also be sent. The presentations have links to them. So please don't only just read the presentations, but follow the links. And then, when you have some free time, we really advise you to just test out, the search function on the Funding and Tenders portal, also on Cordis and EURAXESS. Just try it out. Like, for example, if you're looking for a PhD, go to EURAXESS, go to Job and Funding, and then just put, neuroscience. And then it will come out. The search results will come out. And then if you're looking for, let's say, a work program on, let's say, big data, then go to the Funding and Tenders portal, choose Horizon Europe, and then put big data. Then you can see those that are open, okay? And then if you're looking for partners, go to Cordis. Below that, there are also partners that are available. So the resources are there. I know that you're extremely busy, but find the time to just play around with the platform. It can be daunting in the beginning, but once you get used to it, it becomes easier and easier. And again, if there are lingering questions, please contact us. So at this point, I'd like to thank most. Let's give a hand to most, please. Ms. Chang, Ms. Lam, of course, the Director General who was here earlier. Sati as well. Let's give a hand to Sati. I don't see my colleagues from Nasati. Are you still here as well? I think they already left, but thank you as well to you. And of course, the EU delegation to Vietnam. This is Ms. Ngoc Ain. You haven't seen her, I haven't heard her speak, but she's been very active. And of course, that's Ha, and he's been alumni also of Erasmus and Marie Curie. So ask him if you're looking for a PhD or if you're looking at how to apply for the Erasmus Mundus Joint Masters. He's the person to ask apart from me. And the translation services as well, and of course the technical team. It takes a village to put this up, and we're very, very happy to do this online and of course on site. So thank you so much to you all, and please take care when you go home. Thank you.